Hi folks, welcome to today's video, my herniated disc recovery, part 3 MRI update. Now, I make a lot of good content for those folks out there suffering with low back pain problems, such as herniated discs, bulging discs, sciatica nerve pain, lumbar stenosis, lumbar arthritis. If that is you, then hit that subscribe button. You're gonna be notified when I upload some great content to get you back on the road to pain-free recovery. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. So folks, today I'm going to be going over my own MRI results. I just got the results back, it was Monday, and I'd had the MRI the week before. So I'm going to go over those with you today. It's going to be helpful for people who maybe need to interpret their own results. It's not been explained to them properly. You'll see some words and descriptions. What does it mean? You get nervous, you get anxious about it. So I'm going to try to help other people as well interpret their results. And the reason I'm doing all this is for those who do not know me. If you've not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, okay? I started this channel to help people with their low back pain problems, herniated disc, bulging discs, etc. Because I myself, back in 2005 now, so over 18 years ago, had my own herniated bulging disc problems, really bad sciatica, I couldn't walk for a while. But I recovered because my background was in strength and conditioning, rehabilitation, etc. Used a lot of different techniques. Brought myself back to being pain-free, fully active. My doctor was so surprised and happy. He started to recommend me patients. I went down that area of expertise, helping many, many people around the world, as I do today. And I wanted to bring something back to those people suffering with those problems. And I had 18 years of pain-free, working out hard, mountain biking, martial arts, doing all sorts of crazy things as I choose to do. And then unfortunately last year, I actually re-injured myself at the same location. It was doing something I just didn't think properly beforehand. Did a certain exercise, which I'm not going to get into right now. People ask me all the time, you know, and I need to do a special video just highlighting the mechanics of what went wrong. Then I did actually exacerbate it by doing a very heavy lift with really bad posture in my spine, and I suspected it was re-herniated. So I had a really tough time to get into rehab because I was traveling a lot last year. Periods 6 weeks away on an extended honeymoon down in South America, South Africa, visiting my wife's family, UK, a lot of traveling, very difficult to get into it, but I really hit it hard towards the back end of last year. And of course, pain was coming down, results were good, but I had the chance to get an MRI and I wanted to have a look, see what the injury or what the damage was up until this point, and then talk about it for you guys to share, you know, in my recovery journey part 2. I mean, it's technically the second time I've had this issue and I'm recovering again. But today's part 3, because part 2 I was discussing where I'd come from, how I was doing the other week, and I said that, you know, MRI results were coming. So hopefully this will help in you guys as well, okay? So first I'm going to flash up the Czech results because I live in Prague in the Czech Republic currently, and the MRI results are in Czech, but a lot of Latin based when it comes to different languages. So interpreting the results was quite easy for me. I do speak a bit of Czech as well, but I'm going to flash the Czech ones up first so you can all see, right? It is my name on there, etc., etc. Then I'm going to put the, just use Google Translate results because Google Translate is pretty good with Czech nowadays, side by side. And then I'm going to focus just on the English results up there, coming on and off as I speak. And I will put the English results down in the description below for you guys to compare with your own MRIs as well. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. So English results are going to flash up. I've got a pile of notes here in front of me. I'm going to be going through. So as you read through, you will see something called lumbar lordosis straightened, post-Sherman's disease. So basically, I was diagnosed, or not diagnosed, but it was found that I had Sherman's disease, which is basically a straightening of your spine, your vertebra, how your spine forms when you're younger, and it does result in a lack of lordosis at the lumbar spine. So it's just a finding they report on the MRI. Doesn't necessarily make it bad or good, etc. I would say indifferent, right? They do say a dorsal shift at L5 relative to S1 by around about 8 millimeters. Well, I knew from my MRIs back in 2005 that I do have retrolithsis, which is whereby my L5 has shifted forward compared to my sacrum, S1. So that can predispose me to having herniated disc at that region, L5, S1. It could have happened by trauma when I was a kid, could have fallen off my bike or whatever. Could have been something I had from birth. Do we worry about it? not really. I've had that for a long period of time. I am going to be working on correcting that. There is an exercise that I can do for that specifically. We continue on down. You will see that they talk about Schmorl cysts, slight modic one changes. So these are basically end plate vertebral changes which happen to your spine as you age. Again, not severe, very expected for someone of my age. I am 50 now. So when I first had my herniation, I was, what was I, early 30s, 31, 32 roughly. And yeah, I've done a lot of training since then. My body has, of course, aged, right? So these things that we're seeing there are quite normal, okay? So nothing to get extremely worried about. Moving on down. It does say disc hypohydration. It just means that my discs are dehydrated in all of the lumbar vertebrae apart from L4, L5. So typically when you see an MRI, and I am not a doctor, okay, but I have done some sort of, small, easy layman's courses on reading MRIs, just the basics, etc. And when you look at an MRI, you'll often see like these bright white, your discs are nice and white, okay, means they're sort of hyperhydrated, fully hydrated. And then you may see dark, okay, which doesn't mean they'll often write in the report dehydrated, okay? Now dehydrated doesn't mean they're completely lacking of water. It just means they have less water than 100% healthy disc would have, okay? And it is a normal process of aging and degeneration, right? So I always say to people a lot, make sure you drink plenty of pure water. That is something I'm going to be upping my water intake as well. But typically you want to maintain space between your vertebrae. Decompression work will help the hydration in that region, but it is something which happens with the aging process because the discs, they change morphology, they become more sort of stiff, more hard, they're not as spongy as they were when you were a teenager, okay? So again, it's something I'm not surprised to see, but I will be working on some things to delay the sort of increase in that, okay? So move on down. They do say they've got a more pronounced yellow ligaments. Now your yellow ligament is your ligamentum flavum, which basically connects the lamina of the two adjacent vertebrae. And when they're saying it's more pronounced, it really means it's thickened, okay? So it's had hypertrophy, which can happen again through aging, through the stress that I've put my spine under with exercise, etc. You can get thickened ligaments. Am I worried about it? No. Is it something that can cause me a problem? Not at this stage, and most likely never will, okay? How long have I had them? Who knows, right? This is the thing with MRIs. It is just a snapshot in time. It's more about your symptoms, okay? And I'm going to come on to my symptoms and how I interpreted them in just a little bit. We continue down. We've just got my notes here. When I can turn my page on my notes. Yeah. So we get into the kind of meat and potatoes, right? They give you kind of a brief description of this upper section in general. Then they mention the disc protrusions and disc herniations. So first one, we've got an L1, L2 disc protrusion. Now, protrusion is, you'll hear the words protrusion, and extrusion, okay? If this is my disc here, I can show you a picture, but I want to show you this. A disc protrusion is where the disc is pushing out from its space, okay? And the base is wider than the tip, which is sticking out, okay? So it's protruding, yeah? An extrusion is where the disc is pushed out and the base is narrower. So you'll have like this kind of like bulbous bit sticking out. Okay, so I'll make it this way. Sticking out like that, okay? And it comes into a narrow base and then the rest of the disc is here. That's a protrusion. Because sometimes in the interpretation of radiologists and how the radiologists report, you'll see bulging, you'll see herniated, you'll see protrusion, you'll see extrusion, you'll see different terminology used, but there is a general consensus within the radiographers. That's what these things mean, okay? So protrusion means the base, where it's bulged out, it's like pushed out like this, okay, and the tip of it is narrower than the base, close to the disc body itself. Protrusion, okay, the part closest to the disc body is narrow and it's like a bulbous thing sticking out, okay, protrusion, all right? So we get L1, L2, disc protrusion, right? So it's basically a small disc bulge. Touching on the dural sac. The dural sac is basically the covering of the spinal cord with all the spinal nerves in it. Okay, there's dural sac covers it, there's liquids in there, etc. Okay, so it's pushing on that. So that could be causing a bit of nerve impingement, possibly. Again, I'll talk about my symptoms, which could relate to that as well. Then we go down the spine, we've got L304, L405, circular posterior disc bulge as well. So again, another protrusion at L3 and L4. Circular means that it's basically, if this is my, get the light here, this is my disc, it is a circular broad one, so it's very kind of equidistant around the side. It's not sticking out to one side. It's what they call circular, so it is the overall disc itself, okay, has bulged out. And then we go on to L5S1. There is a small herniation, roughly 5 millimeters, which is making contact with the S1 spinal root nerve. And it is a central and basically right to the right, bottom right hand side, okay, disc bulge. And again, this comes into my symptoms. I'll talk about it in a second. And basic conclusion, we've got L5S1 retrolithiasis I talked about, which is this shifting of the vertebra forward, degenerative changes, okay, and a small herniation. So basically, this is kind of what I expected to see based on my own, interpretation of my symptoms, okay? And I'm just going to finish up. Yeah. So, okay. So basically, my symptoms when it first happened, I felt immediate sciatica nerve pain. Okay. So I knew, and it was from a deadlift. I was deadlifting, and essentially I came out of the bottom, and I was like this, and then my back popped. Okay. So immediately when that happens, my disc, my vertebrae do this. My disc goes backwards. Okay. I've got a lot of compressive force. That's most likely when it was herniated, and had the instant sciatica nerve pain. So the material, bam, but would push onto the nerve. Of course, I immediately stopped what I was doing, and it was literally less than 2 weeks later. I was off on a 6-week trip. I had 63 hours in 9 weeks on planes, okay, which is not good for sciatica, I can tell you. So yeah, then there was other symptoms. So obviously sciatica nerve pain, it was in my glute running down into my leg, lower leg would get cold, tingly sensations, etc. Quite numb in the beginning, which is very, very normal. But if I try to sleep on my left side, okay, so if I sleep on my left side with the compression of the bed, you tend to do this, okay? So I'm opening up the right side of my vertebra. When I went onto my right side, I definitely had increased pain. I went onto my left side, I had a decrease in pain, and my back a decrease in pain. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, when I'm going on my right side, I'm opening up the disc space on the right-hand side. If that's where the herniation is, it's pushing on the nerve, and I get more intense symptoms. So I had interpreted this that yes, it's most likely L5S1 again, and it's on the right side. Now, I was also getting more kind of numb, I wouldn't say numbness, a lot of weakness in my thigh, in my top part of my thigh, iliopsoas muscle. At its worst point, I was kind of dragging my leg. Sometimes it would go down into my right knee. Now that got me thinking, okay, that's L2, L3, L3, L4, that's the femoral nerve, that could be that, but it can also be the sciatica nerve because of referred pain and different nerve junctions. So I had a feeling that there was some issues further up the spine as well, which proved to be there's some small bulges. Is it them that's causing or was causing that issue? Not too sure, could just be the sciatica nerve. So I did a lot of nerve gliding for the front of my hip as well for the femoral nerve. So basically, what I saw was it didn't make me go, oh my God, okay. March was the time I really messed it up. So we got April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So 9 months, I got my MRI roughly 8.5 months after that initial injury. It's still touching the nerve. Am I surprised to see that? No, not really. I had a delay in getting started with my rehab. Life gets in the way sometimes. I know that myself with the clients that I work with. So no surprises there. I am 50, okay, so the recovery is much, much slower for someone of my age. Again, in the literature, most disc herniations do not really begin to shrink. You really look at a year, 18 months, up to 2 years before you start to see significant changes in the disc. When I say shrink, it's mainly dehydration, phagocytosis, etc. Okay, so where I am presently is kind of where I expected to be, okay? I wasn't sure. The reason I wanted to get an MRI was it had been quite a bit of time. I had the chance to get one pretty quick, before I leave. We're actually moving countries. And I thought it would be great for my viewers to share, to sort of share you guys along on this journey as well, to sort of interpret results together and let you know that I'm also going through the same things as some of you guys, okay? Now, I didn't do this intentionally. That was not my intention. I'm sure some of you guys know years ago, there was a variety of personal trainers would gain like 50 pounds, 20 odd kilos, and then lose it all to basically, you know, create empathy with their clients who were looking to lose weight, etc. That is not me. I did not intentionally go and herniate my disc just so I could be in a position of going through recovery with you guys, all right? However, what are the next steps for me, okay, going forward? Okay, so from a personal point of view, now that I kind of know the position of what's going on in the spine, there are certain things I will be implementing more of, okay? I will be doing a lot more of decompression work through my entire lumbar spine, mainly with the use of L-DOA. L-DOA I talk about many times. I've got various videos on the decompression stretches. One is going to pop at the end this one if you're going to check it out, just so you can get a kind of overview of that type of decompression that I'll be doing. I'll be working specifically on my reticulothesis. There's a particular stretch and L-DOA as well for that, just to help my vertebra kind of try to reset. I'll be doing a lot more Mackenzie side lean, which is very specific to a right side herniation, okay? I will be doing some more kind of floor Mackenzies during the day, just to try to create a bit more lordosis in my spine if possible. At my age, it's probably not, but I'm going to try it anyway. As I said, you know, continue with my exercise. I'm doing an upper-lower routine twice a week at the minute. I'm not directly loading my spine. Yes, I'm working my legs, kind of like a lot of body weight stuff. I use a TRX, a lot of body weight upper body stuff. I was doing some one-arm dumbbell chest presses yesterday, so I'm trying to work my core, brace my core at the same time as lifting. I am trying to avoid basically picking that scab, okay, like, you know, putting more compression and flexion, etc., onto my lower back to prevent any further injury, but also to not slow down the injury process. You do have to create movement, okay, it creates blood flow, which brings, of course, you know, good materials in towards the region of the disc, takes inflammatory material away from that region. You want to keep moving as much as you can, which is what I preach with all the videos that I do. I will also be doing more nerve gliding now, just different angles of nerve gliding, etc. Because the fact that it is still touching the nerve at this stage, I wanted to get that nerve flossing. Okay, it's going to help with trying to sort of improve the nerve and reduce the nerve pain. So that's going to be, you know, going forward, there's things I will be doing as well. I also did purchase one of those like soft kind of sacrum cushions, if you will, for my chair, because I do sit more than I used to. So that really helped a lot with the pressing of the nerve, because basically the way the sciatica nerve runs, it runs under what's called your ischial tuberosity, which is the sit bone. So if you sit in a fairly hard, even if it's an office chair, it's quite a hard chair, you do get quite a bit of pressure on the nerve, and that will exacerbate it as well. I bought one of those, you know, foam thing. It was, I don't know, it's like 30 euros, whatever, $35 or so off of Amazon, and that gives me a nice soft cushion to sit on. That really helped a lot as well. I'm not an affiliate marketer, so I'm not going to send you a link, all right? I just said that's one of the things that I've used, and it definitely was very useful. So going forward, I'll be posting some of my workouts, okay, to sort of show you what I'm doing and I know how I'm doing it, basically, with some sort of corrective pointers if you want to sort of follow along as well. But guys, listen, the reason for this content is it's basically I want to, you know, educate you guys out there. I want to show you that, you know, some of the results you may see. I know myself from speaking to lots of clients, the doctor says, here you go, what does it mean? Oh, you have herniation, and you see all these things like degenerative changes, modic changes, Smurl's nodes. You know, what does this mean? Is my spine, you know, do I have the spine of a 90-year-old? I've got stenosis, is this bad? Is da-da-da-da. The MRI is a snapshot in time, okay? The real thing is how you feel. What are your symptoms? And sadly, many doctors today do not ask, you know, what are your symptoms? They don't sit with you for 20 minutes, half an hour, and really get to understand, you know, your job, the pains you're going through, etc. With my content, I try to help people get around all those things, and I try to produce content which helps you get back onto that pain-free lifestyle. Yeah, so I'm hoping today's video has been useful for you guys. If it has been, if you know someone else who is struggling with this type of injury, share the content to them, okay? If we want to get this to more people, like it, okay? That's the way the algorithm works. You've got to like this content. Please subscribe for of course, more useful content for you guys. And listen, you got any questions, you have any comments, etc., you're confused about some things, hit me up in the comment section down below. Okay, that's what it's there for. I'm here to help as many of you people as possible. Yeah? So guys, listen, I hope it's been useful, helpful. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.